Hello and welcome to White Glove Reviews. In this video, what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about my experience and the strategies and whatnot that I discovered and implemented while renting a death deck. Now, the death deck that I rented was basically maxed out for silver. And what I mean by this is I rented a level 4 summoner and then I did my best to max out like level 5 common, level 4 rare, level 3 epic, level 2 legendary. And in order to rent this, it ended up costing me a hair over 500 DEC for a day. And it got me about 5500, scratch that, 55,000 collection power. Now, I was shooting to just rent into Silver 1, but what happened was, well, let me show you the cards I rented. If we go over here and look at the cards rented to me, and then we turn on gold. Okay, so the summoner that I rented Oster Rotwell, and I rented a level 4 Oster Rotwell. When I was going through renting the cards, what I did was I looked to see if there was the level of card I wanted, and then I compared that cost to the gold version. And if the gold version gave me a substantially better collection power per DEC ratio, I opted for the gold card. And in this case, there was not much difference between the cost of a gold Oster Rotwell versus just a normal level 4 one to rent, and the collection power bonus is huge. The difference is huge. So let me go through the cards that I rented, and I'll discuss the ones that I liked and didn't like and ones that came in handy. So starting with the common cards, the animated corpse is surprisingly good. He has, at level 4, he has basically void, reduced magic damage. And I think he gets it at level 3 or level 4. But for him, a level 4 or a level 5 is fine. Now, again, in this case, I prioritized an alpha over just a normal one because there wasn't much price difference. And you get a DEC bonus of 10% for alphas just like you do for gold cards. The Haunted Spider getting poison was also surprisingly good. Now, the poison in general is really, really surprisingly powerful. It's one of those abilities that tends to kind of pay itself back pretty quick if you can get it to stick. The Skeleton Assassin, I used him some, but not as much as I was expecting. The same with the Giant Scorpion. I rented the level 5 Giant Scorpion because I wanted the Thorns, and I thought he might be really good in one of the 4 or less battles, but I ended up not using him that much. The Sandworm, I rented a Sandworm just to have one, and the gold one wasn't a bad deal for what I got it for. So, the rares, Haunted Spirit is really, really good. There are a lot of times where him having the ability to heal will just win you games. Now, he's not cheap as rentals go, so a level 3 is fine. Level 4 is, of course, the max for silver. The Twisted Jester is another workhorse, and the Jester, you're going to use the Jester a bunch. I really, really like the Undead Priest. It is shocking how good the weaken ability is, and him being able to attack, him getting a magic attack, is an enormous difference. And at level 4, he also, like, these three are kind of pricey rentals, but they are very much staples. And I can tell you, I had battles where I put in the Undead Priest over something where, basically I burned or wasted 4 or 5 mana just to get an Undead Priest in there. And because if you think about it, the Undead Priest being on the board, if your opponents have 6 creatures, he starts out doing 6 damage by just being there. He reduces their life by 1 each. Now, the Death Elemental, you need a leveled up Death Elemental because you want silence. You want to be able to basically reduce the magic attack of your enemies, especially when they're playing water. And this one does a decent job of it. The Venari Bonesmith is another one that I've been really, really liking. He has poison and life leech, and it's surprising how long he can stick around. Also, I recommend just picking up a chicken in general because chickens are good fillers, and if you get a level 3 chicken, it actually has an attack, and a 0 mana attacking creature in a small battle can actually make a difference. As we move up to the epics, I found I liked the howling. I like the screaming banshee a lot. The banshee having blast actually came in handy a few times. I thought I was going to use the darkest mage. I might have put it in one game, and I wouldn't rent the darkest mage again. Shadowy presence, giving everything strengthen, or basically having strengthen to boost all your monsters for 1 mana. Actually pretty good. I threw that in a number of battles. And for my legendaries, Fallen Spectre is really good for practically no mana. You pick up Demoralize, so you reduce all the melee, and it has flying. It doesn't have a high survivability, but oftentimes it doesn't need to last for that long. I ended up using Dark Ha'on a decent amount as my main tank. And in the really high mana battles, what I would use is I would use Dark Ha'on, and then I would use Cthulhu as like the secondary tank. And they would just kind of like, everything would target this one, and then this one would blast away. I used the Ancient Lich a decent amount, but not that much. I mean, like, not as much as the other two. And Harklaw, I used some. I wouldn't call him amazing, but he wasn't bad. He definitely has, like, the level 2 picks up immunity, which is helpful. So, I mean, like, he has situational uses where he's not bad at all. But the main ones were this one, the Dark Ha'on, and Cthulhu. Now, what I did was, if you look up at my my DEC total, I started with 1,000 DEC for this, and I got down to a little bit under 500. And through playing to about 57% like I did, I got back up to 1,100. I got up to 1,117. So I basically made 117 DEC doing this. And I was also able to stack up 2 daily quests. And because of the collection power I rented, it was 2 daily quests at Silver 2. So I ended up getting 6 chests. So I got 3 and 3. So if you figure, I basically made 117 DEC off of that. And if you look at the expected, the EV for the chest, the EV for the chest is probably 65 or 70. So you figure, what is that? 1/3. That's 390 EV from the chest. I didn't do particularly well on the chest, but theoretically, eventually, that'll even out. So if you figure in the EV and the actual DEC I made, it's a theoretical about 500 DEC profit off doing this, with an actual profit of about 117. I don't think I got any. I might have gotten like 2 common cards out of those chests. Nothing exceptional. So it's definitely doable to rent, and especially if you want to play at higher leagues. I can tell you that having played in like higher silver, it's actually a little bit of, it's a bit of a different game than playing in bronze, and you get to play with different cards, and you get to see different strategies and that kind of thing. If you have any questions or suggestions about this, please let me know down in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I hope y'all have an excellent day.